to pay your bills. You're gonna do something. So I had to buckle up. I had to come out and do Norwegian. It took me close to a year, I think, but I was like taking like part-time, combining with like a part-time job that I had like in the hospital. And combining it with the Norwegian language. So in the hospital, I was working in the laundry department. We were cleaning up all the laundry, ironing and stuff like that. Of course, highly mechanized system and stuff like that. So yeah, I was combining that with my Norwegian. So I'll be there like some hours during the day, and I'll have some 3-4 hours evening Norwegian course, smashing up all together with my baby in the picture and stuff.
Ooh.
So I come face to face with reality. This is reality, and this is
I feel
happening.
like I'm not strong enough when I hear stuff.
You have to do what you gotta do.
You gotta do. Yeah.
A girl got to do what she's gonna do. So I buckle up and I say, I'm gonna do this. And then I'm also looking now at my education that I've acquired here. And then I'm starting to think, okay, so how can I apply this in this context that I now find myself in? So I really got to do something. But what has really helped me is knowing exactly what I want to do. So I look at, I started the same course as you, Nomcebo, public administration. So that's a very broad course, which you can do so many things. But I had to narrow it down and know, like, okay, if I'm gonna start to work in this context, what exactly is it that is interesting for me? What is my main area of focus? And that was very helpful. So I figured that out. Okay, I want to understand a little bit more about the Norwegian university system in that order. HR in that Norwegian university systems. And yeah, so I said, okay, where do you start? So you start when you finish Norwegian, you have this hope that, okay, yeah, now I can speak Norwegian. So I did some applications and all that. So I'm going to get called for it. After some few applications, you realize that, okay, there's something missing here and I need to go back to the drawing board again. What is it? What is wrong? I wrote an application in Norwegian and stuff like that. So you soon realize that, okay, in as much as I've finished this course, I really need to practice a little bit more, and I really need to come out, get some references and stuff like that. But it's not that easy to just for somebody to just take a chance on you. So for me, I was willing to come down a little bit, and I figured out that I could start with taking like an internship. That was an entry point, which was very practical. So I took an internship at the university college. So that's how I started. And even to get the internship, I really had to go out out of the way and make sure that it happens, because I would be sending emails, he would be calling, you'd be sending your CV and asking even for an internship, and hardly get a reply. So I figured out that, okay, one of these days I'm just going to grab my handbag and I'm going to knock on somebody's door and talk to them about what I'm looking for. So one day I just did that, and I went up like, okay, enough is enough of this. Because where I was working, the people I was working with, they were people who were not mostly were not educated. They were speaking Norwegian fluently, and I saw them every day. They were happy with their lives, what they're doing, what they're working. That was their career. But for myself, I always had this inside of me. I was like, deep down, I'm not supposed to be here. I can't be here, So it was like in the brain. That's you know what? I had that job, and I was going there every day. It was paying my bills and stuff like that. But like, seriously, until when? I can't be here, No. So it was a constant mental struggle. So I knew that I couldn't stay here for a long time. So I had to push myself out, go talk to some people, knock on people's doors, introduce myself, and say, this is what I want to do, and I need your help to do that. And somebody has to take a chance, because if nobody does, then I'm not gonna go anywhere. So
Wow.
that's how it happened. So I started working in an internship in the
Yeah.
university college for some 6 months in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then after that time, I could start to make some applications. I had some references and people that I worked with. But again, at the end of that 6 months, I still hadn't secured myself a contract elsewhere. So I told my boss at that time that, you know what, my contract is finishing, but I don't think I'm going anywhere. I can't go home.
Yeah.
And she said, you are putting me in such a difficult position. You're such a difficult girl. I'm like, I'm sorry. But, I can't go home. It's like going back when I am home, who is going to call me for an interview,
Yeah.
You stand better chances of being called for an interview if you
Yes.
are, somewhere. And,
Yeah.
Yes.
people want your current references, the people that you're interacting with day to day.
Definitely.
So I can go home,
Yeah.
it's up to you to figure it out. I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, my boss, she laughs and she's like, this lady, I knew that she was trouble. She's like, okay, but don't worry about it. I'll figure something out. Okay. I'm like, okay, good. I know you can. So yeah, she had to give me another contract for 3 months. But then there was also during that time a colleague who got sick, and she said, yeah, now it's your time. You have to replace somebody. So up with you. No more internship here. We have to hire you because we are one person down. So
Yeah.
that's how I started to work there. But again, it was like a replacement for somebody. But it gave
Mm.
me the experience over time
Yes.
and
Yeah.
also that my the people that I worked with, they understood my situation and they were willing to keep me for some time, for as long as I
Yeah.
was looking. And then eventually, while I was there, I managed to secure myself
Yeah.
a permanent contract in the university.
Thank you so much for that. Sis Naomi, I'll do a summary of this part. We don't have time. Sis Naomi, do you have anything to add, maybe to what you had said earlier when you were talking about your education and your journey to Norway, about the cultural integration, maybe anything you can add there?
So I think I'm still, I mean, it's an ending journey, as you can hear from the others. I'm still on that journey of finding the confidence, of trying to build something for myself and secure something. And being a student, of course, that's what you do. And being in the social science department, there is no like titles ready for you when you get out of school. And but I do have to give credit to people that have hold me up. Networking is definitely important, and I think I have to start from even in high school. Teachers who went out of their way to believe in me, to listen to what I had to say. If they even see this, I can mention some names. I think it's important. My in Kirkenes, this woman called Nina, she was really helpful in Bergen. Propel has been a great networking place where you meet people and get opportunities. So I do have to mention that. But language-wise, I am still not confident enough. Honestly,
You're doing your education in Norwegian.
I am in this English bubble that I am afraid to leave, but I know someday I have to face the world and
Yeah.
go out there. And of course I live in the fear that no one will want to give me a chance, but again, that fear has been important because it has pushed me to create my own opportunities by being creative, starting up things with friends, and so
Good.
keep in touch with my Facebook to know what I'm trying to talk
Good for you.
about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. That was a segment on the integration of minority groups. It so happens that in this talk we're all Black and we're all women and we're all from Africa. So our experience is more or less the same. While Sis Fungi and Sis Vic were talking, it's exactly, not to say exactly, but it's my experience as well. Because, as I said before, I didn't plan to stay in Norway. So when you just suddenly are confronted with this reality that you have to get on with the program or basically fall deep into depression. It's a very hard, because it's a do or die kind of situation. You know, being unemployed and not being a student is not easy. You know, you could have support, but the mental pressure, you know, of knowing that, dang, if I were home, I would be doing this, I would be doing this. And now I'm just here sitting, and what did I go to school for? Or I'm doing a job that doesn't, my education is not worth what I'm doing. You know, myself, last year, I worked at a hotel, just like Sis Fungi, you know, but at that time it was, okay, I just needed money to pay for my wedding or whatever costs that were related. So it wasn't more about working there. But sometimes it would be like, dang, I went to school all those years, you know, did my best, you know, qualified to come to abroad, you know, to do my masters and stuff, and now here I am, you know. And the question that comes from that for me is, how can we better prepare immigrants in general from our cultural backgrounds, our different cultural backgrounds, from what is expected of us and what we eventually become, or the journeys which we have to take individually when we are here, because it is a different world. So how do we better prepare immigrants for such transitions? In 1 minute each, and then we have to move on. We don't have time. Sis Fungi.
Oh gosh, I really don't know. That's a hard one, because there would have to be some kind of platform. I guess that's what I would say. There would have to be some kind of platform, and because of the world that we live in now, it would have to be something like, because you get like foreigners in Norway, but an Australian, a German, a Swede is not going to have the same experience as we have had. So we would have to have a kind of platform where people of color can go to, and get, you know, the kind of advice, you know, what is it like to be a black man, a black woman, an Asian man, a Middle Eastern man, to come to Norway? What should you expect? There would have to be some kind of discussion platform where people can come, ask questions, and get real answers, honest answers. Not like, oh, it's all going to be fine. No, but real honest answers. So then you're prepared for the worst, and probably it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I think that's my quick response.
Yeah, I would think like networking, obviously, like Fungi said, you have to network with the others and understand how are the others tackling this, where are they coming from, what do they do, and stuff like that. Stronger participation and building up of the diaspora community will obviously help. It leads to increased participation and some kind of maybe some mentorship program. You find somebody, I mean, I've been mentored by people. I mean, I've had people that have been, I mean, shoulders to me when I needed them. So I'll be asking like, okay, what happened to you? What did you do? How did you turn this around and stuff like that? So that is very helpful to find some people who you can talk to, some people who have been through the same stuff that you're going through. They obviously help. So we need such networks.
Okay, thank you so much. Sis Naomi, what can you say about how can we better prepare immigrants for transitions in abroad, in Norway specifically?
I do agree with the networking and mentoring. It has also played a very important role in my own development. But to add on that, I can say that sometimes it can be hard to already compete with what has already been created. I think it's helpful to look for areas that haven't been developed in the society that you've moved to, whether it could be in work or it could be in any area, honestly, because it can be hard to come in where everyone else is wanting to come in. So being creative and trying to look for, you know, ways to create your own thing. I don't know how that could look like for anyone. I think Nomcebo, you are a perfect example for it. Maybe you guys too. You know, create your own space, I guess, because it's not everyone that will want to grab you and employ you, as we have heard. It's not easy. But yeah, that's
thank you so much for that. Creating networks meeting people, having mentors, it's what I had always thought, why does this not exist? Because everybody has difficulty when they are transitioning from any place to any place, and especially people of color in such environments. It's always a struggle, whether you're learned or not. You know, the experience is more or less the same. You know, back in Africa, when you clean the floors, no one looks at you, like Fungi said. And then you come here, you do your master's, and you have to do that exact same job, or you have a PhD. How did the other person get on from there to where they are now? That's definitely something I want to hear, and I'm sure it's all the things that everybody wants to hear who are immigrants from anywhere, actually, here in Norway. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. And hopefully maybe sometimes in this platform or any other people will pick up that discussion and actually dive deep into it. Today, I feel that we did scrap the surface of the issues that we are confronted with every time. But as a conclusion, without having an open discussion, these issues, they do impact mental health. You know, we have alluded to it briefly in our individual selves. You know, whether you're young or you're old, you know, the expectation of by this time I should have been here and I'm not. That is a problem, and it's a weight on you every day until you reach that point. And by the time you reach that point, your brain tells you, by now I should have been there. And it's a constant thing. And you need help as an immigrant. We need help. I need help in doing those things. And then coming to finding something of your own to do. It's cool. I myself found myself handwork. You know, I make clothes and jewelry. You know, you need support also in those things, you know, making your world in a world that already exists, because like you said, Naomi, it's not so easy to penetrate something that is already there, because it may just not suit you. So we have 3 minutes, and in this 3 minutes, we are all going to say,
because we did not begin at exactly 6, I was assuming.
I don't know. I don't know. The time was like from 6 to 7. So
he gives us 10 more minutes. He's giving us 10 minutes.
Oh, yay, cool. We have 2 minutes each. We have 2 minutes each. We will have the discussion. 2 minutes. From education to challenges to its opportunities to what you learn to what you would like to change, language, social integration, etc., and its impact on mental health. What can you say about that? We have 2 minutes each. Fungi.
Oh gosh, I always get to start and the others get time to think. Mental health. For me, okay, one of the things that I can talk about is identity. Figuring out who you are is one of it's one of the journeys that we go through as we go through all the things that you've mentioned, especially in this strange environment that we are, in this unfamiliar environment that we are, is figuring out who you are, accepting who you are. And of course, this is a lifelong thing, but I think it's a start, because I think one of the things that we do, which affects our mental health, is that we either fight ourselves or we judge ourselves according to other people's standards, which really don't fit us. You have to say, where I come from. I believe what I believe, and I have certain values, and I hold on to those, and this is who I am. And yes, I will adapt to survive, but the core of me is who I am, and I hold on to that. And I think being aware of who you are and being proud of that is what, at least from my experience, is what is carrying me through, and what has carried me through. But it's been a lesson. It did not happen immediately. So yeah. I think that helps then your mental health, because you stop all that striving, you stop all that fighting, you stop feeling less. But it is a journey, it is a long journey, and it does take time. And I think what you guys talked about, mentoring, is a really, really important thing that we need to seriously think about.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sis Vic, what can you say?
I would say it's a process. It's like a constant work which needs improvement. You continuously work on yourself, on your inner self. It's like an everyday thing. Like from that point where you find yourself doing a job that you think I shouldn't be here. But what I like about that part, or what I appreciated, is not to quench that voice that tells you that I don't belong here. That has been the most useful thing that I found. So in as much as you find yourself in that deep pit, you have to say, okay, you don't silence it. Don't silence that voice, because that's the way out. Don't silence it and say, okay, whatever, or something like that. No, it's actually normal to question yourself every day, to challenge yourself and say, no, 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 I don't belong here. Even where I am today, I challenge myself every day and say, okay, so what now? What do you do next? And stuff like that. So it's like a voice that I really appreciate, talking to myself. Like, that's my push, that's the motivation. So I would be really worried if I wake up and I don't have that voice questioning me every day. Yeah, so I'll be really worried if I wake up and I don't have that. So I mean, it has to be there every day. It's an everyday drive.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Sister Naomi, what can you say about the mental health issue?
I have to say it's hard to come after you. You're complaining coming first, but think about no.
I mean,
you guys,
continue. Sorry.
Sorry. You guys hit home with what you're saying. Trying to quench that voice that you don't belong, and having a hard time accepting. I have to say that when I moved here, I was very disappointed because I experienced unhappiness which I've never experienced the whole of my life. Like, where was everything I was expecting? Because if you're a refugee, you most likely expect to be resettled. Of course, it's a dream for every refugee that out there, but it's a very, very by chance thing. Like you don't know who will get resettled or not. So when you get resettled, it's a big deal. So I was so disappointed that I wasn't happy this life highlight to happen to me. So when it comes to this thing of not belonging and trying hard to accept and thinking that because you flew across the world to move here to a very great country, your traumas and past experience it moves with you. So what I would say to people like me or anyone, honestly, is to try to deal with their past and to try to deal, because you've already probably had a hard time back at home, but it doesn't stop just because you moved to a great country. You still have to deal with your past and apply everything else the two ladies said. Like I said, I don't know how to top that. So rewind and watch them. And
okay, this Fungi said, stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
Just by being away from home, you already are aware that you're going to be met with more challenges, or you're going to have to develop more coping mechanisms that you had never had to tap into before. But it's all inside you, and you got to dig deep and stay true to who you are, to your value. Another point was, don't silence the voice that keeps on reminding you. It's uncomfortable, maybe when you're cleaning the floor or whatever you're doing, but don't silence the voice that I am better than this. Be aware that I am here now, but this is not my destination. I am moving on, or this is where this is what I have to go through to get to where I am actually supposed to be. And building networks and making use of resources that are already there. For me, church has played such a very big role in just easing that anxiety, of not belonging, or that anxiety of oh my God, when is my life going to get there? Because it does mess with your head. You know, find the things that you enjoy. You know, for me, it's church. For others, it could be a sport. For others, it could be, you know, having friends or hanging out or getting an activity whatsoever. Those are all the networks. You do need all the support that you can get. It's hard to get through it when you're alone or when you're in solitary. And it's cool that we could come on this platform at this time of Corona where everyone is just shut out, you know, and actually have such an open conversations. So to close it off, we can say where we are now. I'm sure everyone has heard our different experiences, which are very different, by the way, even though we find ourselves in the same space. And of course, we didn't cover everybody's experience. It's just our experience. So maybe we can say where we are now. What are we up to now? Or maybe if you are comfortable, what's your plan? Where are you going? Sis Fungi.
Okay, I can say where I am now. I'm not sure about my plan, but right now I guess I am in a good position. I have a permanent position at the university, and one of the things that I'm trying to do in my work is to educate my students to learn about diversity. This is one of the things that I really work towards, is to get them to think about what it is like to be different. How other people and how everything they're taught is maybe coming from one type of thinking, how other people's voices are almost completely silenced. So this is one, I guess this is my contribution, is that as someone who is educating, and all my students so far have been Norwegians, I would love to have students, you know, students of color. That would be lovely to see. But so far they're all Norwegian students, and that's kind of, I feel, is my role. In whatever small way that I can, if I can get one or two of my students to just think differently, look at the world differently, look at when they see someone on the B-Bana or wherever who doesn't look like them, just have that respect and that curiosity of, okay, so who are you? What are you about? I think for me that's really important. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and that's kind of how I want to proceed. And maybe I will do a bit more than just being an academic. We'll see. But at the moment, this is me at the moment.
We are looking forward to you spreading your wings outside the academics. We need persons like yourselves in such platforms. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sis Vic, where are you now? What are you up to?
I don't know. That's a very difficult question. What am I gonna do? I don't know. Okay, but where am I now? Yeah, I'm still within the University of Bergen system, where I have a permanent position there. And I have a lot of things, to be honest, that I need to improve on, to keep working on and get better in different areas of the stuff that I'm working with right now. And trying to improve and get to better levels. But what I'm gonna do next, honestly, I don't know. I love drama.
Sounds good.
Exciting life.
Right in there.
Yeah, so just see how it's gonna go.
All right. We're looking forward to seeing you about. That's cool. This is Naomi.
Yes.
What are you doing? Where are you going? Maybe you could catch a ride.
Oh man. Before I start, I have to say I'm going through a period of my life. I mean, I'm 23, so I'm experiencing trying new things. So if I mention more than you think I can handle, please don't.
What?
Anyway, so I mentioned being a full-time student, but I was very lucky to be part of organizing a African student union in Bergen, something without me and my colleague.
Well done.
So that was very important to have. So a platform for people like us. And then me and other two colleagues again are creating an organization for refugee children in refugee camps. We are very excited. We have 200 kids so far. It's very exciting and a lot of hard work.
Wow.
What else? I sing in the choir. I sing with you now, Sister Nam. That's exciting. I'm very active in church. I'm there a few days a week, so that is important to mention. Yeah. And I'm excited to do other things and to connect with more people. So if you see me on Facebook, don't ignore me. Yeah.
We won't.
Oh, you obviously have enough on your plate, so that
Yeah.
is a good.
Busy.
I want more, you know. We are thinking about opportunities. I don't know what is going to stick, so I have to try different things. Hopefully everything will go well. Pray for me. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, ladies, for your time. For me, I am here. You know, I'm just here. I have a plan of going back to school. I don't know if that is coming from just the feeling of, oh my God, I should be doing something, and then I'm not. But God has been great in my life. He always has been. Now, Sister Naomi mentioned something like, okay, sometimes it's difficult to penetrate systems that already exist, or you can't find your place in systems that are already in place, so they're not useful even though they are there. So I found my own space or my own place by beginning a clothing line. Should I say a clothing line? Yes, it's a clothing line.
Wow.
Like making clothes and selling. I'm very active on Facebook. I have a page, Nini Kriationz. I make clothes on order. And I should say I'm really enjoying it, and I'm feeling like, okay, the feeling I had last year of just feeling lost and just questioning every decision I ever made in my life, you know, it's fading out. You know, I'm finding a space that's, oh, people in Bergen need clothes, you know, they need color, or they need to dress up more or whatever, and I'm here for them. You know, it makes me feel like, okay, there is progress. And I have a plan of going back to school and getting a second master. That would be cool. I don't know how that would go. I have to check my emails. But the point is, for all of us, we are up to something. Whatever it is, we are making a contribution. I'm dressing people. This Fungi is teaching people about students, about diversity, and hoping to impact, to have a bigger impact in the future, you know, and everything else that we are all up to. The point is to not give up, to be aware of yourself, to know where you are going. And when you know where you are going, you will know what to do at each given point in time. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining hands today. And as we talked about this, of course, we didn't exhaust the topics. There's a lot to talk about. But somebody else, or even us, or others, can pick up the baton and actually dive into these immigrant issues that we touched on today, and reach more fruitful resolutions that are going to be helpful to us as immigrants, to us as women in Bergen and in Norway, or maybe in Europe, who knows.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I'm going to give Simba of Afrikanere I Vestland. I don't know if I said that right. I'm going to give the back to him. And he's going to round off the whole discussion. But thank you so much.
And thank you for leading us so well. I think you did a fantastic job.
You did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank God. Okay. Have a great evening. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye. It's lovely to see you.
Bye.
Okay. So, guys, you heard it all. Not everything, but I think this has been a very interesting conversation, and to hear from you four. I did not manage to get back to the comments and stuff. I think I'll read through and go back play back the tape again, and hopefully in time we'll find also more time to discuss, not only on online live conversation, but how you started and how you ended. I think there is room to create platforms that we continue this discussion. So this is the beginning, and it has been a pleasure to have you here, figuring new voices. And yeah, I just want to thank you all. Stay safe and stay healthy, and God bless each and every one of you. And thank you very much for this fruitful discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simba.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I will continue a bit, but yeah. So I will do the tech stuff. So as our panel is signing out, I just have to do some tech. Okay. So without adding much to what has been said already, I have a thing with figuring out. I have so many screens on me. So this has been a discussion or a dialogue on education, challenges and opportunities, language and cultural integrations, clash and mental health from a great panel of 4 ladies who just signed out now. And like I said, I think they have touched. They did not. They touched on most of vital issues. You know, 1 hour is not enough to finish each and every topic or to go deeper. That is why we have to come together and organize more of these discussions so we can together find solutions to help each other in whatever way we can, you know, help each other as a community and also uplift each other as a community, at a minority community, also on a national or regional community level, you know, and then beyond after that. But we need to start really small. So this is how much we have gotten to. This is the basic, this is the scratch. And the goal here is to continue evolving, you know, not stop, to continue evolving and find solutions to the challenges, you know, and also open up opportunities for each other, you know, in the community stuff. It's not easy, you know, to integrate in a different community of which you're not born and raised in, you know. It's not an easy thing. So we need each other. Those with skills, those with information, and those who know their way around. We need to be taking care of each other, you know. And we need also to be looking on what is already there, you know, and so that we can figure out what is missing. We cannot continue to sit back and complain about things and not do anything. I think if we are to move forward as a community, especially I'm talking right now in Bergen, we need consistency of activities that we do. We need to be able to follow up. Just like this, we started, right? Because we wanted to get everybody's attention while everybody is in quarantine, you know. So now we got everybody's attention. Everybody who was watching or who participated, you know, you can all agree that this has been an informative, highly informative discussion from my sisters, 4 sisters. So we don't want to just dissolve, and when COVID-19 or this period is done, and then everything just goes also boom. Then we wait for another crisis or another moment to pick up a discussion later. No, we don't want that. We need consistency in activities. We need follow-ups. We need commitments. We need people to be able to spot on, you know. This is how we develop. This is how we grow. So I don't want to spoil the conversation or the dialogue which already took place. Let me just say again, thank you so much to Nomcebo, Khumalo, yeah, the host. I think she's a better host than me. I think she's a better host than me. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I am from an artistic background, and the 4 of them, they are from, like, what should I call them? What is the word again? I forgot the word, but anyway, that is not an excuse that I cannot be a good host. It's not just in me, you know, like. But anyway, I have to end here because I tend to talk too much and get lost in the way of translating myself or articulating myself. I don't want that to happen. I have 8 minutes, and I just want to ask you guys, if you want to be part of this Figuring New Voices discussion, you have to sign in on Zoom, because now we are using Zoom. We're live on Facebook, but we are using Zoom. And how you get to be part of this discussion is right now is by invitation. I invite you in a room where you can be part of the panel to a topic which will be at hand at a particular or a present time or any given time. So this is how you get to participate. And I saw here another comment. I'm just gonna run through the comments, you know, and read the comments. And yeah, a great turnout also. People who've been following this discussion, there's been a great turnout. I think I shared the page in more than 10, yeah, 16 pages now. So it's been a mixture of audience we heard in this conversation. So let me just run around so Linda Chimenya saying the Coco and watching. Takunda, yes, thank you for joining. And great Lindo, thank you for joining. Keep safe, everybody. Yes, keep safe. Keep safe, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, educative and informative. That was Nonso. And Regan was saying, how do we join such lives? And I told you, you have to be invited. And yes, let's go an invitation. And then talk for day. I can this very English. This was Symphorian Pompe. Yes. The reason why we're using English in this discussion is sometimes we want the message to reach everybody. We don't want to leave anyone. We will have discussions in Norwegian too, you know, but most of the times for your voice to be heard, you have to use the language you're comfortable in. That way you communicate better, you know, and it's not all the people in the minority community who are comfortable in using Norwegian yet. I'm not saying the ones who left are not comfortable. I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm just generalizing. So it takes time for a platform or for people to build up stages. So definitely we're gonna have conversation in Norwegian, and in Norwegian, I mean, you know. So don't worry, sir. We will get there. This is just the first block of a great building. Yes. So the next questions was none, highly informative. Yes, I agree with that. The dialogue, the discussion was highly informative. I said it also. And Rina was saying, I'm impressed how all of you ladies are dealing with integrating to Norway. Thank you for sharing your stories. Yes. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your stories. The 4 who left. And the last 2, 3, 4 comments were, you go, that was like, yeah, you go women. That was a women power kind of love from Solveig. And identity, spot on. So when the time, I think it was Sisi Fungi was talking about identity and stuff, and there was a comment here to say spot on. Yeah, I think she nailed it. The you know, it was like anywhere, and I tuned in late, but sounds very interesting. Yo, so this was someone joining in too late, but saying this was very interesting. And thank you, ladies. It was very good to listen to you. Yes, thank you for joining. And Thomas, you joined late. The discussion just finished, but if you watch back, you'll find out. And we'll also be posting the live recording on YouTube. So yes, thank you for an interesting conversation. Thank you for an interesting and inspiring conversation. This is Shesti, says thank you. And thank you for the comment, Shesti. And this here, the last one is Lindo. Is it open for us foreigners interested? Yeah, the discussion is open for everyone. We'll get to a point. Yeah, just keep up on Simba Arts page, and also if you are in Bergen or Norway, in the West Coast region of Norway, there is a page on Facebook called Afrikanere i Vestlandet. Yes, Afrikanere i Vestlandet. Or you can just follow Simba Arts on Facebook. Then you get to see what events are coming next. So we're gonna have more discussions on this Figuring New Voices platform. Hopefully it will grow to be something else, but the idea is to have these small discussions building up to the African Arts Festival in Bergen. So these small discussions and activities that we do, like dance classes, and we do different kind of activities as Simba Arts. And also you heard Nomcebo is a designer. She has her own label, and also Naomi is into organizing students in the university, African students. You know, she's part of organizing that. So we want these small events that we do in the city to build up to the finale, which is the Afro Arts Festival, scheduled to happen each year in September. Then when we get to the finale, we have something to celebrate or something to look up to, you know? So all these small little things happening in the city, for me, I see it as a build up to a big thing. So in future, we will get there, but this is just the beginning. And yes, the discussion is open for foreigners, but on different topics. Like on Friday, we will have a dance arts topic. And tomorrow, tomorrow at 6, we're gonna have training with Blazing, you know, like home-based fitness. So 6, we are here also tomorrow. Fitness, so that we get rid of this stiffness. Bless. So that was it for today, the comments, and the live will end here. We will continue again tomorrow at 6 and on Friday at 9. So thank you for watching and stay blessed. Peace.